I'm going to jump onto the array really quickly, and then we'll jump onto Revit so we can try and stay on track. Okay, so these joists, obviously we have an issue with trying to copy these equally spaced, and we have a lot to copy. The Move tool, if I click on Move, very similar to SketchUp actually in this case, there's a couple ways of copying things. Using the Move tool, and if I click on Move and I drag the Y gizmo slider here, I'm just moving my geometry. We don't want to do that. But if I use the Move tool and I hold down Shift and I drag it, you can kind of see I'm making a copy and I'm moving it at the same time. And then when I let go of the click, you get a prompt. And I can either create copies or instances. Now, just so that we kind of stay on track here, you can think of copies and instances the same as groups and components in SketchUp. So they behave exactly the same way. Copy is just like a group. In SketchUp, they're unique. Instances, they're just like components in SketchUp. They're all tied together. So if you edit one, they will all edit. Now, the other option you have is you have number of copies. So instead of 1, I can say 10 and hit OK. So I'm going to make them components or instances in this case, and I'm going to make 10 of them. Hit OK. So now I have 10 of these joists. And if I change one, let's say I turn off the modifier for renderable on one, they all change, right? So they're all tied together. Now, a couple problems with this approach. One, I was not very precise about my spacing. If I needed 1 foot, dragging it, I can only get so close. Number two, if I need more of these, I kind of have to repeat the operation, and because I'm imprecise, I'm going to get different spacing. So it works, but it doesn't quite work. I mean, it's okay for some applications, but not in this case. For this case, what I really need is the Array tool. So if I go to Tools, right, it's up here on the upper left corner. Under Tools, go to Array, which is about halfway down. You get one of the most complicated things that I've ever seen in my life. Until you actually make sense of it, and then you realize this actually makes a lot of sense. And it's actually really easy to use. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is not going to work. Then I spent some time with it, and I said, actually, it does. So don't get so confused here by all the things. It's just there's a lot of power in this particular tool. But we're really concerned with a simple operation, right? Linear array at a foot is spacing a certain number of pieces. So we have our object selected, and we want to array this. So here on the left, we want instances, so we know that. There's a count, right? So we need probably more than 10, but we'll adjust that. And then there is basically 3 lines for 3 different operations. The first line is a move operation. Second line is a rotate operation. Third line is a scale operation. On the move, well, we can kind of see here's our Y, here's our X going that direction, as Z. We want to move in the Y direction. So we know we're going to be tackling this slider right here, right? We want to move and we want to go Y. So if I type in 1 foot there, and we have our instances and we have our count, and we do preview, you can see we get similar to what we had before. Now this time, I know they're exactly a foot apart. I didn't drag it, didn't second guess, right? Now I need more of these, obviously, but my count's right there, so all I have to do is just kind of increase that. I can click and drag, and kind of get to where I need to, right? Very cool. And this is kind of like in SketchUp where we could still edit things. Right? In SketchUp, you get a window of opportunity to kind of do it. With Array here and this particular sort of interface for it, you can do it while you're here as much as you want as well. So if, for instance, we wanted to decrease the spacing, I can do that, see how that looks. Let's say, for instance, I wanted to scale these, right, as they kind of went along. I can do that as well. I don't know if that's really doing anything for us here, but let's say I wanted these to rotate, let's say along the x-axis. Let's see what that happens. Right? That's kind of cool. You can have them rotate as they kind of go along. So you can see some very cool, sort of powerful things that you can do with this particular tool. You can have them scale probably in the Y, actually the Z, right? Let's say you do that. So you can have some fun with it. You can kind of see how they're getting big towards the end just because we're affecting the scale here. Powerful tool. It takes a little bit to kind of comprehend exactly what's going on, just to kind of get the hang of it, but with a little practice, it's great. And you can kind of see we end up with the same result. It's precise. You know, we're able to get it on top of the beam, and we have a model that, you know, we can come in and take these joists. They're all instance. We can edit it. We can do all sorts of different things to it, and they're all tied together.